mine shafts. They built those up with rock and gravel. They actually started working on this bridge in 1974, finished it up October the 22nd, 1977. It was designed by the Michael Baker Jr. Company, put together by U.S. Steel in Ambridge, Pennsylvania. In a sense, this bridge was put together twice. The first time up in Ambridge, where they put these beams together, and they were built to the tolerance of 1/100th of an inch, took them apart, put them on a train, and they brought them down to Nowlan, West Virginia. From there, they put them on a tractor and trailer, brought them up here to the construction site. Some of those were still way too big, so they left those on the train, brought them down here to the tracks, hoisted them up with cables. The bridge is owned by the Department of Highways. When they built the bridge, built this for the maintenance people. We negotiated a contract with them to do these tours. We got that contract in 2009, started doing our first tours in 2010. The bridge is 3,030 foot long. We are going to be strolling just a little bit over half a mile. Once we get to the middle of the bridge, we're going to be 851 feet up there on the highway, 876 feet up. This bridge does shake and it does rattle. We're the only thing that's going to roll. This does shake. This is going to rattle. Catwalk's going to vibrate with you. That is all normal stuff for the bridge. I know it's not normal for you, but it is for the bridge. There is a little bit more of a vibration. See how they have combed off one side of the bridge up there. Don't let that bother you. It's not nothing going to happen to you. It's all normal stuff for the bridge. We estimated around 19,000 vehicles pass this bridge every day, so it's pretty busy. The bridge is 3,000, like I said, 30 foot long. We are the third highest bridge in the United States, 13th in the world. We are also the 35th state to become a national park. We became a national park in December of 2020. My buddy up there. What you doing? Now, I've been connected to this bridge and to the highway for quite some time. Back in 1963, John F. Kennedy came to this state campaigning. He saw how economically undeveloped this state was. So in 65, they formed a committee called the Appalachian Development Act. That got Congress to appropriate $800 million to open up this state with 6 highways. One of those highways is 79, coming down hitting Route 19. When I was just a little girl, we lived up here in Idaho. They came to our house and told us we had to move because Route 19 was taking our house. And it did. It took our house and several other houses. We used to drive this road quite a bit before they opened it up to the public. It stopped right up here at the top of the hill. We'd come up, just circle around, and we'd drag race out there a little bit. We had a good time out there. Years later, we moved out here past the River Gorge. I would ride my bike out here and watch them build this bridge. Did not have a clue I'd be working on it one day, but I used to come out here quite a bit and watch them build it. And some of the reason I used to come out here and watch them build it, the real reason was to watch the builders build it. I was a young girl, what do you expect? So, I'm going to stop along the way and tell you some history. When we get to the middle of the bridge, I'm going to offer you a seat. If you would like to sit down, you can sit down, put your feet under this last railing, and take a picture of your feet over the wall. You don't have to do it. Nobody wants to do it. We'll just keep on going. If anybody wants to do it, we'll let you do it for a little bit, and then we'll take off. come by, you're on your right side.
Did you say
I'm
something?
saying it.
Does it mean it's recording?
did?
I don't know.
I don't either. You heard it was a zip line.
Yeah, they zip line. We just went zip line and I
Uh,
Now this is the north expansion joint. We've got the north and we've got the south. This is actually one opens the closest to bridge. If you go across and you see those silver teeth, that opens the closest to bridge. That rocker down there does that. This bridge does move at all times. You just can't feel it. It moves up and down, side to side. If the bridge did not move, it did not breathe, it would become cracked and distorted. It would shake itself to pieces. The bridge is also made out of core tin steel. When they were doing the big board, they added copper to it. That's where you're getting the rustic look. The bridge is not rusted. What that does, it oxidizes over time, just gets better and better. We would never have to paint this bridge. It would cost us over $1 million every time we did it. The only downfall, when the inspectors come, they just can't look out there and guess if there's something wrong underneath. They have to go into there with the wire brush or hammer and see. They come down in September and they stay for 3 weeks. They inspect this bridge top to bottom, end to end. They come over in bucket trucks. They'll also be lowered down scaffolding. They also have motorized harnesses that go up and down the beams. They can walk out here with these box beams, put the high face jump through the chair to a count